Welcome to Research Matters, the podcast where we discuss research matters and why they matter. My name is Joshua Davis with the Office of Research at Kennesaw State University, and today we're exploring the impact KSU researchers are having on the evolution of elementary music education. Our first guest today is Dr. Tiffany Roman, a faculty researcher at KSU who's a part of the cross-disciplinary team behind SpectrumPlay. Joining Dr. Roman is Erin Collins, a KSU student who is working with her on the project. They are here to talk about SpectrumPlay, how it works, and the potential it has to change the way we think about music education in schools.
I hope that you know that if you choose to follow this path, like if you choose to play an instrument in middle school, if you choose to start a band in your garage in high school, like if you choose to have a YouTube channel and like DJ, like whatever it is that you choose to do, I hope that you know that you can.
Welcome. Thank you both for joining today. Dr. Roman, let's start off with you. So why are you at KSU?
I came to KSU in 2018, and I'm an associate faculty member in the School of Instructional Technology and Innovation. What I love about where I work is their support for practice, right? Really doing research that matters. I have a background in learning, design, and technology, and so being able to create technologies that support learners and instruction, I just feel really fortunate that I can continue to do that work here.
I guess you're undergrad. What did you start with? Education?
My background's actually in design. So I have a Bachelor of Fine Arts in design. And then immediately after I finished my degree, I shifted into education. So I have a master's in education with a focus in elementary ed. And so I taught as a K-12 teacher for 5 years.
So Erin, your background's education as well?
Yes, music education. Okay. So a bachelor's of music in music ed. And then I went and got my specialist in secondary education. So high school with a focus on reading and literacy, and specialist in instructional technology.
So why music?
I have always known that music was my thing. I think as children, we tell ourselves stories. And I remember being in 5th grade thinking like, this is it. Like, this is what I'm going to do.
Really?
Yeah.
Like music specifically?
Music. Yep.
Interesting. Mm-hmm. What instruments do you play? All of them, of course, but like, do you have any in particular?
I was a vocalist.
Oh.
So singing, piano,
okay,
guitar. And then, yes, we have to essentially learn like hot cross buns on every instrument that's available.
Yes, I did that too on the recorder. I remember the recorder. And by the way, I hated the recorder.
Nobody
Just throwing that out there. Okay. Well, the good thing is we're talking about something you guys created to help make music accessible and understandable. So, Tiffany, what led you down this path? Was this your idea?
I really give credit to Erin for when I was working with her early on, talking about what she was doing in her classroom practices. She was talking about how she supported all students, but students with special needs as well, by hand coloring sheet music and allowing her students to work in stations. I'm a big proponent of students working in stations. They have more voice and choice in the work that they're doing. Erin, do you want to talk a little bit about the...
Sure. Well, I was doing it the hard way.
Okay.
Like trying to find different ways to visually represent notation. So anyone that's tried to learn how to read music knows that it's really difficult. Not only are you following it in a linear way, like left to right, you also have to decode symbols and you have to know where they are spatially in relation to each other. Like, is the pitch going up? Is it going down? Where do I put my hands? How long do I leave them there? How is it supposed to sound? Like, you have to hear the music in your brain to make sure that what you're playing is matching what's on the paper. It's more complex than learning how to read print.
Okay.
And so it's also one of our standards, like our students have to learn how to read music notation. I had a student that just kind of crashed out one day. It's like, I hate music. And I just thought, like, really? And I was curious and said, why is that?
Was that 5th grade? Was that a 5th grade student?
3rd. And I said, tell me more. Like, why do you hate it? And he said, I just want to play the music that I want to play. And I said, well, what do you want to play? Like, I'll make it for you. Like, what do you want to play? And he's like, no, I don't want to deal with all the little black dots. And then that's kind of what prompted me. I thought, okay, like, let's find a workaround. Like, how can we get you there without making you jump through all the hoops, right? It felt like it was a little bit of gatekeeping. Like, yes, you can play music, you can do what you want to do, but first you have to learn all of these things that are very complex. And it's very much a deterrent, I think. And I wonder how many of us out there are not musical or are not experiencing music because we told ourselves a story that we could not do it or we could not get there. And it's the fun class, right? Like music, like that's it. Like it's like you're the cruise director and everyone's along for the ride. And so instead of doing a difficult concept like linear algebra, it's more like, okay, well, where do you want to be? Like, what do you want to play? Like, what games? Like, and they let you know. Like, they let you know. Like, I want to play instruments. I want to do this. I want to dance. And so, just how can we get you there? And every child, and I always ask the kids, like, what do you want to do? And they all say, I want to play. Like, I want to play music. So, how can we get you there? Like, hands-on instruments, and not just like, we're going to learn scales, children, but just like get you there, hands-on instruments. Till you get to that place like where it's like it's joy, it's play, all right? Isn't that like one of the fundamental parts of being human?
Absolutely, and that gives me cold chills the way you said that, because I think that speaks to a calling that you educators have, is to bring joy in the classroom, which implies they walk away as something they carry with them the rest of their life. Yeah,
and I tell all of my students this. I say, especially like our end of the year in 5th grade, they have this big banquet and. All the kids are like, I'm out, I'm going. And I always tell them, I said, I hope that you know that if you choose to follow this path, like if you choose to play an instrument in middle school, if you choose to start a band in your garage in high school, like if you choose to have a YouTube channel and like DJ, like whatever it is that you choose to do, I hope that you know that you can.
So Tiffany, you spent some time learning more about her classroom.
Yeah, at this point, she had joined applied for and been accepted into the doctoral program in our school. And we were sitting down, probably just having an advising meeting more than likely, and talking about this. And I had suggested to her probably at the time that there was a program sponsored by the Office of Research called the Innovation Launchpad, which was new to campus, which really was like, if you have an idea, it can just be an idea that might address some sort of problem, bring it to us because we can support you in developing that further. And so Erin was working as my graduate research assistant. And I think one of the tasks I gave you was, hey, let's envision what this might look like, not on paper, right?
Right. So maybe let's talk through SpectrumPlay a little bit. Like, how does it work? What are the pieces? What's required? Let's go through that.
Yeah. Okay. So like Dr. Roman said before, it really is like essentially just digital sheet music. Like you choose your song, and then there are 4 different scaffolded visual levels that you can choose from. So you can have where it's just color on the screen. So the color, so just think like the visible light spectrum, like red, orange, yellow, green, blue on a 8-note scale. So like C major, like middle C is red, and then D is orange, and then E is yellow. So on and so forth. And it just repeats. And so you have your color oval on the screen, and if it's a long oval, like intuitively the student will know like, oh, this is going to sound longer. And if it's a smaller, shorter oval, this is of short duration.
Okay, right? So you're giving like cues or prompts to kind of help them get muscle memory or train.
Right.
Okay.
And then so that corresponds to what they have on their keyboard. And then they also will go up and down. So like, let's say if the melody is trending upward, then the ovals are trending upward. And if it's trending down, then the ovals go down. And then not only do we have that visual representation, you can touch the screen and it will sound the pitch that it's supposed to be. So you have that place where you can stop and check, like, am I playing the right note? Is this correct? And then what else is really interesting in it, within that, first level 1, you can zoom out and look at more of the melody together to see how it works as a chunk or as a melodic line. So that's the first level. And then the goal as the music teacher, I want them to be able to read notation eventually. So level 2 is we have the color overlay, and then now you can see the rhythm that's behind it. So whether it's a quarter note, 8th note, whatever. So they're starting to make that correlation of like, oh, this is a long oval, this is a half note, that's what they look like. So if it looks like this, then I know that I have to hold this out longer. So they're starting to make those connections. And then the next level up, you have notes on the staff, the lines and spaces, and the colors. And within each level, like you can touch each note and each color, and it's going to continue to make the sound. And then that final level is just standard notation, no color supports, like just the way it would be traditionally.
So what's on the instrument? So I guess you use your painter's tape to correlate. Okay.
Little masking tape. They sell them in a pack. You can get a pack with all the colors and just put put the tape down on whatever instrument is at hand. So it could be a xylophone, it could be a digital piano. I mean, I think that's kind of the flexibility of what we've created is you don't need to go buy an instrument. We'll use whatever instrument you already are having the students use. Erin was color coding the sheet music for her students, but there was a corresponding colors that she put on the musical instruments that the students were using.
By hand.
Right. Well, like with, I think at the time you said you maybe just cut paper and taped it down.
Oh, yes. I had like pieces of paper. I tried markers, like just anything we could to try to get
the correlation.
That one-to-one correspondence, like
Right.
where just very easy, like this note is red, I just need to touch red on my instrument. And eventually found that there is every color of painter's tape you could possibly want. And so, which was much easier than cutting out little pieces of paper and
putting it down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you realize painter's tape is less capable than software.
Well, we still use the painter's tape.
Oh, you do?
Oh yeah. Totally. So the goal is still to keep students' hands on instruments. I love working with Erin because as the music expert, for that age group, she'll always emphasize, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's about practice, not perfection, right? Mm-hmm. The only thing we've really changed is instead of that black and white sheet of paper, that students can change the visual representation of what they're looking at. So think of it really as, in its simplest form, digital sheet music.
Right.
That's personalized to support all learners. I remember one of our first conversations was like, how long have you been doing this in your classroom with the music notation? And she's like, probably 2 years. Like, about how many students? Probably like 800 students. And I was like,
that's a lot of tape.
If you've got, if you've got 2 years of
tried and true
on paper, and talk about like a low stakes way to pilot test an idea or an intervention. A paper-based prototype, it's already, if it's effective for you, let's see if it's going to be effective for others. And to be clear, it may not even be a tool that every elementary music teacher wants in their toolkit, but there's a strong, from who we've talked to, when it can support those learners or just, I love the story. I'm going to make you tell a story about the student who her parents moved to a different school district. And they were going to leave Erin, and they're going to leave the use. And the mom came up and had a request for Erin.
Oh, she just said, like, can we take it with us? Can we make sure that the teacher at the new school is going to use it? And I happen to know this teacher, and I said, I can reach out. Like, we'll see what we can do.
Oh,
yeah. And so I think it's just one of those things where if you have students that really enjoy it, you have teachers that love it, and you have parents that are supportive, like you have stakeholders. And then for principals, it can help bring an exemplary music program starting early. I don't know. There's just a lot of benefits. And we've seen possibilities. Maybe it's used in Head Start, right? So Head Start programs could find this possibly useful as a station, or other areas. Like we have after school music programs, nonprofits that do music support, right? So it's not just, it's targeted for the elementary music classroom, but
it's
parents,
not limited.
It's not limited there. So it could be used by piano teachers in private lessons. It could be used by parents at home. I mean, we definitely know how it could absolutely support elementary music teachers, but we know it's beyond that, right? Like adult special need programming. And globally, we have it. I mean, yes, we're in the United States, but music's universal. And so there's no reason that this also can't be used globally.
Well, and so is color. Color's
right,
universal.
exactly.
Right. So, Erin, would you say that music is essential in education?
Well, absolutely. So if you think about it this way, education is so individualized right now. And that's part of like what the SpectrumPlay tool is doing, is we're trying to meet students where they are. Like, what do you need? But the other side of that is you can go into a classroom and everyone in the classroom is doing something different. And rightly so, right? Like, because everyone's going to...
Different levels.
Right. Different levels of learning. Like, do you think reading levels? Like, where are you in terms of math? Like, we're trying to get everyone on grade level, past grade level. So the music room is one of those last places, I think, where we are asking children to come together as a community and to do something together. Like, it is one of those last places, I think, especially in the elementary level, where we're asking every child to do the same thing at the same time, together as one. All right, so playing as an ensemble, like, really is, it's community. Like, it's because you have to listen to each other. Everyone plays, everyone's involved. we're all going together. Like we have a destination and we're all going to get there together at the same time. And so it's difficult, and it's not something that they really get a lot of
opportunity.
Unless you're on a team sport. Like I would say team sports, definitely you're doing that too. But I think that playing as an ensemble is so necessary, and I think it's so needed, because to make music with other people, and especially like when it's done well and you know it's done well, I mean, it's like we did that.
We did that, not me.
It's a we. And I think that the we doesn't happen often.
Not in our society, especially education, like at least the education I went through, it was definitely about me, my grades, not our grades.
And I will say, like, some of the best teaching moments I've ever had has been with a group. We've got our instruments out. I've got a challenging melody on the board, color-coded, right? Because that's how we roll. And then, but we're getting there, right? And then one of the best feelings I've ever had, like as a teacher, is like we just played a really challenging piece. We get to the very end, the last note is played, and then they just erupted into cheers because they were so excited for that. Like, we did that. It's like, yes, you did. Like, yes, you did that as a group.
And also to build on that too, I think what we've created is a safe space for them to like not fail, but right, like make mistakes, because it's in that practice and it's in that exploration of new songs that they've never done or a different level that they haven't done, that it's sort of private to them in a way. I mean, I've been observing teachers use this tool in their classrooms, and they'll walk around and then they'll do performance-based assessment. I think that's something that we get a question of a lot. Like, does this improve learning, right? Does this improve some sort of academic metric? And as Erin will always say, like, it's performance-based assessment, right?
Yeah, so I could have 35 kids in my room, right? And I know that day I'm looking, like, can we do a crossover at the xylophone, right? So like I'm playing one note and then my other hand crosses over to play the next. And then you have all class period to do it. If you do it right off the bat, done, right? If it takes you some work and we get there and we have to work, I mean, done. But it is all by seeing, by eyeballing, right? And so I have to see every child do it, but we're doing it because we're all playing together. We're playing a song together. I might see Johnny play it now, and then I'm looking for Marie over here, and just trying to figure out, like, how are we doing it? Are we getting there? And what I love about music too is that they regulate each other because we're playing as a we, right? So I've seen a lot of students, like, they'll take their neighbors under their wing and they're like, no, let's do it this way. Like, I've seen kids do hand over hand with their neighbors that are having a hard time because they want them to play with them, which has been really fun to see.
Yeah. And again, I just want to make sure that it's clear. This is a tool in their toolkit, right? Teachers aren't going to be using this all day, every day with their students. Right. But when they need to have that independent play and they want to give those students voice and choice, let them get more time. And Erin has done some really great research, literature reviews, looking at how much time of classroom music instruction is really on letting students play music. Do you remember some of those stats? I want to say it was like...
Not much.
Yeah.
There's a lot of teacher talking, not a whole lot of students playing, and it's a lot of very prescriptive.
That sounds not like joyful.
Right, exactly.
What is your favorite part about SpectrumPlay, Erin? Like, what did it do that you didn't realize could be done?
I think watching kids make connections to deeper concepts.
Okay.
Right. So I've had students come to me, and because we've done the color coding and the SpectrumPlay, like, it is integrated into all aspects of my classroom. Like, I've totally changed the way that I teach now. And so I have students who have never played a piano before who will come to me and say, come watch the song. Like, I can do it. I'm like, okay. And I'll watch them, and they'll play the melody with their right hand. And I'll say, okay, I'm going to give your left hand a job. And they're like, what? And we'll go through, and it's functional harmony, right? And it's like, so what color are you starting on over here? I'm starting on red. I'm like, well, we're going to build a chord over here on red. And so a child that has never played piano before and comes to music once a week, and maybe we spend 10 minutes.
My goodness.
Maybe. Now this child, it's December, we started in August, they're playing piano with two hands and they're doing functional harmony in their left hand. I mean, it's just...
And you've never seen that before?
Never. And I've always had piano keyboards. I've always had a keyboard lab, if you will. But before we did this, like, I used to label the keys, like, with letters. Well, come to show, like, no wonder it wasn't working, because that's an extra level of decoding that the kid has to do, right? So it's not as accessible. It's not as easy to get there. Like, we're asking them to do an extra step to get there. So just seeing them make connections. We do a lot of composition in my class. I like to do both sides, like playing and composing. And I had a student come up to me over in October and they said, Ms. Collins, when I start my song on Orange, it sounds very spooky. I'm like, yes, dear, it does because you're playing in D minor, right?
I love that because is this around Halloween?
Yes, right around Halloween. They're like, Orange is spooky. I'm like, yes, it is. But they're making these connections that like they're figuring out like these deeper, bigger concepts that they wouldn't have necessarily had access to before. So it's so fascinating. Like once you make something more accessible, like it ripples out, right? And so like more is happening that didn't used to before. And that's been really exciting for me.
So with SpectrumPlay, where's it at now? Where's it being used?
So our last big study was in a large metro Atlanta school district where we invited over 1,600 students to use the tool. We had over 425 complete all the procedures. The number one feature is touching to hear the audio of the note. We didn't know if that would even be used. Really? Like, I don't know. We didn't think it's like by far.
When we don't know what you don't know.
Yeah, you don't know and you don't know.
That's right. You have to test in the market. Like you get it out early often.
So we found students wanted to play the whole song before they played it on their instrument.
Which makes sense. That's the first thing I would do because I want to know what I'm getting myself into.
And so that's something that we're developing of like, hey, do students want to have a song preview where they hear the song before they play it? Or I
could see me going, I want to hear the complicated part, the part that I don't know. I want to get an idea preview.
Right. And we're going to do more teacher interviews. So we did student focused data. So we're going to continue that and we're going to expand it to teachers to kind of hear what they feel like they are seeing as teachers, getting their inputs through interviews, focus groups, and really gathering those teacher data points to help develop it further.
Have you guys identified any new features or things you want to change based upon the data you've already gathered? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
We noticed that we had some students that would get to the end of the song and it was like, well, now what? Like,
or they want
like now what? I guess just maybe expecting
like a next step, like
where do I go now? Like not intuitively like going back to the menu and so just little things like adding in like the return arrow so I can return to the beginning of the song or making sure that the menu button is right there at the end of the song. Like, oh, now I can go back to the main menu and
like usability
stuff. We've already added that in. So we follow Nielsen's usability heuristics. There's like 10 that talk about usability, and that's my background isn't focused on that. So we also want to add a bass clef. Right now we just have a treble clef. That's important. A huge thing for me is accessibility for students that are colorblind. So
yeah, I was going to ask.
Yeah, I'm happy to talk about that.
Please do, because it seems like that would create significant obstacles, but there's a lot of things you can do with monitors.
Well, but the problem is the monitors don't necessarily change the tape that's on the instrument, right? So there's two things that would have to change. And there's multiple different types of color blindness. So you may have
yellow, green versus
it is not black and white. I don't know if that's a good analogy to use. It's like a range of color blindness. So integrating kind of a pattern that would overlay on particular colors, and then a teacher could easily put that basic pattern over the tape as well. So think dots and a pattern on the screen so you could toggle it on and off for a student that has those accessibility needs.
Well, awesome. Very good to meet you both.
Yes, absolutely. Thanks for having us. Thanks for hosting us here.
I have a lot of thoughts, like a ton of thoughts. No, I'm like, actually,